It Comes at Night. What comes at night? Great horror movies, apparently. This movie is directed by Trey Edward Schultz and is the story of a family of three living in the woods after an extinction event or an apocalyptic happening or something along the lines of that. The movie never explains, which I'll talk about in a second. The patriarch of this family is Paul, played by Joel Edgerton, whose job is to watch out for his family, his wife, and his son. But then another family comes in and says, "Hey, we would like to stay with you, ride this whole thing out." And they're like, "Sure." And so there are now six people living in a house in the woods, and the tension starts to build. When I was walking out of this movie, the more I thought about it and how it presented itself both in style and narrative, I felt this was very similar to The Shining. This movie's basically The Shining if it took place in the woods instead of the mountains, and it was 90 minutes. But this is not a Shining clone, let me just say that right away. I may be jumping to a conclusion, but I feel like this may be my favorite horror movie of the year. I know, we still have half a year left, but I don't think another horror movie will top It Comes at Night because It Comes at Night was fantastic. Firstly, I think Joel Edgerton is probably one of the best actors working today. His character is both simple and complex all at the same time. He has one instinct: to survive. And that means he has to make some very difficult decisions. A great example of this is the opening scene of the movie where he has to take his wife's father, who is apparently sick because of the environment that they're living in now. He basically has to kill him to put him out of his misery. And he kills him and then lights his body on fire. You immediately know what world you're living in once that happens. But at the same time, he's also just a guy who, before the crap hit the fan, he was just a history teacher. There was another scene where he was talking to the patriarch of the other family. They were having a drink together, and he said that he was a history teacher before this whole thing happened. So like I said, simple and complex. But my favorite performance of the entire movie was the son, Travis. I felt like he moved the plot forward the most, and he was the emotional center. Most of the scary moments in any typical horror movie took place in dream sequences involving Travis, which, by the way, that was some pretty haunting stuff. Let's just say it involves a lot of people vomiting blood. Or motor oil, or something along those lines. And how this movie was filmed, I think I could only use one word for it: compacted. Because if you watch the movie, you'll notice that that the frame rate, it's very focused on the people. You don't see very much of the environment around them. It's the person and then maybe the woods in the background. But other than that, nothing. And when somebody encounters anything scary, it doesn't cut to the scary thing that the person is looking at. Instead, it focuses on their face and shows their reaction. It's an excellent way of showing, not telling. It's more scary to not see what people are scared of than to actually see it. Or at least that's what it was for me. I felt like if they had showed what the people were actually afraid of, then it would have taken a lot of the edge off the moment. But they didn't, and I was very appreciative of that. One small thing to note about the movie, it's that it's very laboriously paced. Even though the movie is 90 minutes long, and it does look like it was made on a ham sandwich budget, it's still very much a slow burn. So if you're the type of person who demands scare after scare after scare after scare, then you might be disappointed. However, you would be doing yourself a disservice because, like I said, this may be one of my favorite horror movies of the year. All of the acting was great, the camera work was refreshing, and very deliberate. The pacing, like I said, also very deliberate, but I kind of liked that because you only knew the amount of information that the people in the movie knew. I liked how the movie doesn't tell you what actually happened to cause these people living in the woods. One of the things I kinda hate about these disaster movies or zombie movies is that they show you exactly what happened to cause the zombie apocalypse from happening or to happen. It Comes at Night is left up to a lot of interpretation. Was it the flu? Did all the power go out like in the TV show Revolution? What happened? The movie never says. And I think that works to the movie's benefit because you, the viewer, are left to formulate your own theories on what happened. It's essentially a big what if, and that's what makes the movie fantastic. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to follow me on social media, the links will be in the credits. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.